Math 8, section 1.4. I present more examples here, solved examples for you guys to practice. Here mainly talks about how you find the equation of a straight line. That's what this section is about. But to do so, we need a lot of things to recall. First, if you have 2 points, call it A, x1, y1, and B, x2, y2. So then the slope of ABM, this is the slope, is given by y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the slope. That's the slope of AB. And the equation of the straight line is given by y equals mx plus b. M is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So what we need to do here is we also need to recall y minus y1, m times x minus x1. That's called slope, point slope form. So to find the equation of the line, based on the first one, we need slope and y-intercept. Slope and y-intercept. Y-intercept, say you have a straight line like this. That's the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis. That's called the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So if we start by, let's say, to find the equation, so we are asked to find the equation of the line, part 1, with a slope -3 and y-intercept 0, 4, and then contains, so the straight line contains the points 2, -3 and 1, 3, let's say 1, 3. So we need to find the equation of the line. For the first one, of course, you have y equals mx plus b. What do I need? I have the slope 3, -3. I don't need x. X stays as is. And the y-intercept is 0, 4. So this means that the line crosses the y-axis at that point, 4. That's the b value. So b is 4. So that's what we got. Y equals -3x plus 4. Next one, we need to solve this, we need to find the slope. We can label these x1, y1, x2, y2, and we write down the formula that we recalled earlier. Difference in the y's over difference in the x's. y2 is 3, y1 is -3, x2, 1 minus 2, 3 plus 3 over -1, 6 over -1, -6. I found the slope. In the first part, they give us the slope. Here we have to find it. So I found the slope to be -6. But still, I need the y-intercept. How do I find the y-intercept? Well, let me write down the equation first. Y equals mx plus b. M is -6, so 6x plus b. To calculate the value of b, we can use any of the given 2 points. You will get the same value. Let's say I'm going to choose the second point, 1, 3. So the y value is 3 equals -6 times the x value is 1 plus b. From here I solve for b and then I put it back in here. 3 equals -6 plus b. Add -6 to both sides, so b is 9. So I'm going to put it back in. So I get y equals -6x plus b is 9. So this process is a little bit lengthy, but that's the best way to do it. Let's take another example. Contains -6, 4 and 2, 4. Need to find the equation of the line. Of course, you are welcome to pause the video, try it first on your own. That's what I highly recommend. And then come back to it and see if you got it the same way as I did it. So in this case, we find the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's a 0 over 2 plus 6, 8. A 0 over number is 0. Doesn't mean something is wrong. we write down the equation y equals mx plus b. Y equal, the slope is 0x plus b, but 0x is nothing, just 0, so it's b. But it's not done, we need to find b. How do you find b? You can use either of the points. Let's say I want to use the second point. The y is 4, so 4 equals b. Done. So I put it back in here, so I get y equals 4. That's the equation of the line we're looking for. So how about number 4? Let's say the line goes through the point 6, 9, and slope negative 1/3, with a slope negative 1/3. So how do you do this? They give me m. So the first thing I would do is just write down the formula. Y equals mx plus b. This is called slope-intercept form. M is negative 1/3, but I don't know what b is. Notice they said it contains this point 6, 9. I can use this. This is the x, that's the y. Substitute it here to solve for b. That will help me to solve for b. After I find the value b, I can go back and replace that value back into this one here, right in the last line. So y is 9, negative 1/3, x is 6, plus b. 9 equals negative 2 plus b. Add 2 to both sides. That's the b value. Put it back in here. Negative 1/3 x plus 11. Also, they can ask us still find the equation of the line. Let's say part 5, parallel to, say, y equals 0.5x minus 11, and contains the point 2, 8. So they are parallel lines. When do we have lines parallel? So lines are parallel if they have same slope. So what's the slope of this line? Is this. M is this. So that's slope of the line I'm looking for, 0.5. So y equals mx plus b. That's the equation. The slope which is found is 0.5x plus b. But they give us x2 and y8. Substitute them in. 0.5 times x is 2 plus b. Then 8 equals 1 plus b. Subtract 1, you get b equals 7. Put it back in, so you get y equals 0.5x plus 7. So now we can ask you to write each in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Say 2x plus 4y equals negative 1. Or 3y minus 5x equals 11. Two x plus 7y equals negative 1. So we need to get them in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form means y equals mx plus b. So I have to solve for y basically here. We have to solve for y. So how do you solve for y? We subtract 2x on both sides first. Subtract 2x. Then we need to divide both sides by 4. So you divide by 4, each by 4. So you get y equals, you can reduce this negative 1/2 x minus 1/4. Done for this one. We can do the same for the next one. We have to add 5x to both sides, so 3y equals 5x plus 11. Then divide each by 3, so you get y equals 5/3x plus 11/3. Next one, subtract 2x on both sides. You get 7y equals negative 2x minus 1. Divide by 7 each one of them. So you get y equals negative 2 over 7x minus 1 over 7. Very important to practice this kind of problems. Another one, number 4. Let's say y minus 2 is negative 3 halves times x plus 5. We need to write this in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. And then after that, we're going to move on to negative y plus 6 equals 0. Also slope-intercept form. So again, you may pause the video and try all these questions first. So for this one, first we multiply the negative 3 over 2 in. Now negative 3 over 2 times 5 is negative 15 over 2. Add 2 to both sides. So you get y equals negative 3 halves x. So 2 minus 15 halves, multiply by 2 by 2. So you get 4 over 2 minus 15 over 2. Negative 11 over 2. So minus 11 over 2. So keep in mind, you want to combine these as I did on the side. So this form is the slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form of the straight line. Here the slope is negative 3 halves and the y-intercept is negative 11 halves. Negative 11 halves. Next one, we need to subtract 6 on both sides. Negative y equals negative 6. Then multiply by negative, so you get 6. 6 means there's no x here, so it means like 0x plus 6. That's the slope-intercept form of the line. Again, the slope here is 0, the y-intercept is 6. Slope is 0, y-intercept is 6. This motivates us or helps us to solve questions in this form. Find equation of the line perpendicular to, say, 2x minus 3y equals 8, and contains the point negative 4 comma 2. So how do we go about this? First, we need to solve for the y, write it in a slope-intercept form. Subtract 2x on both sides. Negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 8. Then divide each one of them by negative 3. Negative 3. So that gives us y equals 2/3 x minus 8/3. That's the equation of that line. But they said it's perpendicular to the line I'm looking for. So two lines are perpendicular if they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Opposite reciprocal slopes. So the slope I'm looking for, you take the 2/3, flip it and change the sign. If it's negative, make it positive. If it's positive, make it negative. But since it's positive, I make it negative. So that's the slope. And it contains the point negative 4 comma 2. So then y equals mx plus b. M is negative 3 halves x plus b. Okay. So to find b, they give us x and y. We substitute them here. 2 equals negative 3 halves. X is negative 4 plus b. By 2, 1 by 2, negative 2. Negative 2 by negative 3, 6 plus b. Subtract this on both sides. I found b. Now put the b in. So you get y equals negative 3 halves x minus 4. That's the final equation of the line. We may look at a word problem. Let's say a manager will spend, let's say $3,000 on file cabinets on file cabinets at $100 each, and bookshelves at $150 each. Write the number of file cabinets as a function of the number of bookshelves and or just that part. So here they talk about on file cabinets and bookshelves. Okay, so let's say C represents the number of file cabinets, and bookshelves, let's say B is the number of bookshelves. So here they said $100 on each file cabinet. So depending how many file cabinets you buy, the C is the number of them. So 100 times C. So if you buy 2, it would be 2 times 100. If you buy 3, 3 times 100, and so on and so forth. And then for bookshelves, it's 100 each. So 100 times B. That will cost him in total $3,000. That's he's gonna spend $3,000. They want us to write the number of the file cabinets. So number C. How do you find C basically? So first you subtract 150B on both sides plus 3,000. Then divide by 100 each one of them. So you get C equals, the zeros cancel, by 5, 3, by 5, 2, B plus cancel, 30. So this expresses the number of file cabinets as a function of bookstores. So what this means here, how do we interpret the slope? We can say as B increases by 1, okay, C decreases by -3/2. That's what the slope means, by -3/2. So the more problems you practice on this, the better. The more, the better. Another thing that helps us when we working with slope-intercept form, if we're asked to graph, let's say 1/2 x plus 4, good to know this is the slope here, and this is the y-intercept. So what do we do in this case? We always start with the y-intercept, assuming it's written in this form. So m is 1/2, and slope is always rise over run, and the y-intercept B is 4. So you start at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, there. Rise 1, so you go up 1, and run 2, 1, 2, 2 to the right. If it was -2, you go to the left. That's the run, either to the right or to the left. And then after you get these 2 points, you connect them, extend it, use the arrows on both ends. Always put an arrow on the x-axis, arrow on the y-axis, label the origin. Label the origin. If in case we're asked to graph something like 3x plus 2y equals -6, you need to solve for y. Subtract 3x on both sides. You get 2y equals -3x minus 6. Then divide by 2. So you get y equals -3/2 x minus 3. Then here we have the y-intercept -3. So we go down to -3. And now the slope is -3/2. -3, that's, you have to go down 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So you become here. And then the run +2, so you go 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's how we use slope-intercept form to sketch graphs. Notice I was able to sketch them without even finding, without like taking points or anything like that. So we don't have to find points to graph the straight line.